Hello, good day, wherever you're joining from, and welcome to this Ask Me Anything live session. This is the first time I'm doing this, and I believe it's going to be very helpful to a lot of us. So let's get started. First, I would like to start with you sharing with us wherever you're joining from, and I'm going to share some things about career and upskilling. Then I can take your questions. So feel free and tell me where you are joining from. Okay, it's going to be a conversational, sort of thing. So don't worry, as you're putting your question in the comment, I will be highlighting them right on my screen and talk through them. By the way of introduction, my name is Olanrewaju Oyinbooke. I'm an experienced and professional data analyst, data scientist. I've worked as machine learning, machine learning engineer, and also data management specialist. I've used low code in the past, and I was ex Microsoft most valuable professional. Also, to add, I've had quite a lot to do with Microsoft as ex MVP, Microsoft certified trainer, and also ex senior cloud advocate at Microsoft. So, thanks for joining today. And I've been really bothered and concerned about career, and I've not had time to um, give my attention to many people who are in my DM. And so I'm creating this session to listen to you, to ask. You can ask your questions and I'm going to answer it. So this Ask Me Anything session, anything that has to do with career across all the things you've known me for. Yes. So I have a lot of people who are already here. I see hello Ola. Don't worry. Today we are together. So I'm going to be sharing your question and then I can also speak through them. Hi, Benga. I see Bola Dales joining us from Lagos. Um, oh, my brother Frederick from Ghana is joining again from Accra, Ghana. Thank you for joining. And where can I get started on Power? So, amazing question has started, right? So I'm coming back to this, Sadiq. Don't forget. I'm going to answer all these questions. Just one thing to ask is wherever you're joining from right now, please do like this session right now. And if you could just share, either on your status, either, among your network, that will go a long way so that I can get more people, just to share. And why I, get you to introduce yourself, I also appreciate if you can introduce yourself. Now you want to, ask me question. If I know who you are, it's better to also know how to answer your question. For example, where can I get started on Power Apps? Can you tell me a bit about yourself? Are you working? Are you a professional? And or are you just a new graduate? If you're a professional, what are the things you were doing before? That can help me. If you are a professional and you had no idea about Power Apps and you're trying to switch from a non-technical background, the way I will explain where to get started will be different. Than someone who maybe probably is into programming or one sort of programming and just trying to add Power Apps. So just give me a brief about yourself as well. Will help me to better address and tailor the responses that I'll be giving to your question. So I just want to take one sec, thereabout to tweet about this on Twitter and also on my WhatsApp and with my network. So just give me some seconds to do this. And let's all do that together. As I'm doing this, you are also doing yours as well. Okay. Right. We're live. That's the way to show love. Sharing that. And on the last platform, say we are live. Okay. All right. So I'm back now. First, I think I should talk about myself a bit, which I've done already, but so it is. I can take questions now. Thanks, guys, for staying no with me. Or I can also confirm you can hear me loud and clear. In case there's anything wrong with my sound. Okay. So as you all are aware, this is Ask Me Anything question. Don't make me be the one to ask you questions. You are the one to ask me anything. And so I will be happy to have your questions. I'm still coming back to Sadiq, who is asking, where can I get started? Any skill you have today needs to be tailored. Your learning path needs to be tailored. So I don't want to be mentioning multiple stages, how you can get started. So Sadiq, I'm still waiting to get to know you. I don't want to say, if you are just learning, if you're a beginner, if you don't have any technical background, if you don't have this, I want to tailor my response to you. So I need to have some bit of information about you, maybe what you do today, your background, was it in STEM, all those kind of things can really help me. Okay, I also have some questions here. Of course, it's asked me anything. So yeah, people are asking me. There are some things that are not anything, but there are some that I will still be able to answer. I need help getting out of this country. I don't know which country you're joining from, but I have no such required funds to finance my trip. I would like to visit the United States of America. Okay, so based on my knowledge from 2017 thereabout, up till now, 2015, 2016 thereabout till now, what you can do, Abiodun, is two things that I won't say two things, but let me just keep mentioning those things. First, the US used to offer a lot of funding. You might want to go to US by through school, maybe go for your master's or PhD, and I would advise PhD. There's a lot of funding for PhD than for masters. So so if you apply for PhD, you get a lot of funding. Their funding, I mean, the chances are higher. And to get that, maybe right now some schools are actually waiving, they're waiving GRA or waiving TOEFL. So you might not have to write them, you have to do your research, but you still have to, in case you can't find those schools that are waiving it, you then have to write GRA and TOEFL so that you have your English and those qualifications, and then submit. I want you to know something. You don't have to finish the first class before you can get funding. Even a 2-2 with some level of experience and those things, you can still, get your PhD application, admission. But that would be my takes. Look for those schools, apply. As far as you're going for PhD, you will be fine because you'll be able to get funding if you meet the requirements. It's way easier as a PhD student. So that would be my answer to you right now. Hello, Andre. Let me say hi. Okay, all right, good. I see a lot of people are joining. Yep. Hello, guys. I'm data doctor, a doctor and data analyst. Amazing data doctor. So we have a lot of diversity right on this call. We have people that are, are doubling two career. We have a doctor and we have a data doctor. Amazing. So let's go on to Abiodun. Oh, okay. My name originally from Ibadan, but currently in Kaduna. I'm an independent radio broadcaster and jingle production artist, a seasoned marketer by education training, married with kids. Okay, I think what I said you still work for you, Abiodun. Yeah, PhD, it's a good part. And I'm sure if you are doing PhD, your wife and children will have to give you moral support. So that visa won't be that so hard, especially when you are funding, which you are likely to get as a PhD student. Right. Is it possible that I have a question? Is it possible to create automation using data factory instead of Power Apps? This is a very good question. So let me quickly answer. This has to do with data engineering, data, analysis, and Power Platform kind of question. First, what is Data Factory? Data Factory is an integration tool from Microsoft. What do you mean by integration? A tool or service that help you integrate one or two things together, but it's a data integration tool. So data from the word data factory, where you work on factory, a factory where you work on data. So data factory is for injections and on some few other automation. So not just ingest, because it can ingest and also do data transformation and also do alert and notification if there's anything that failed. So it's a data, integration service, which is a good replacement for, SSIS, SQL Server Integration Service from Microsoft. This one runs in the cloud. And a good example is you can connect to your on-premise data and say every day, because your business is T-1, every day, at the end of the day, you want to load all the business data, you want to load them to the cloud. So you create integration service, from data, a pipeline from data flow that can connect your data source, and at a certain time it will run. Then it will take those data in case you want to perform any form of transformation on them, or you want to load them It will load data to the destination table. It will do any other cleaning you want it to do. In case you want to run some script that will do some cleaning, it can automatically trigger that script to run and monitor that process to alert you if anything fail or succeed. So that is Data Factory. It cannot replace Power Apps. Power Apps is for business app that you can use. So when you build an application with Power Apps, business can use it, can play with it, can use it to do their day-by-day job. For example, you have a leave request application where, in an organization, everybody wants to go on leave, you just go to that app and you can apply for leave and put all the details there. That is how Power Apps works. It's application like daily application that you use. That's how it is. You cannot interact with Data Factory pipeline. It's at the back end, on cloud. It is the engineer or whoever set it up that can actually go there to configure it and manage it. So Data Factory cannot be used to build automation to replace Power Apps, as you ask. And I hope this is a clear answer. So please, yes, it's time to start asking questions. Don't keep quiet. Good day, guys. My name is Benga from Nigeria. I'm a doctor and I'm a data analyst. I look forward to this session. Thank you again and again. You introduce and reintroduce yourself. Awesome. Samson Dada here. What's the best route for someone in his 50s? BSc Engineering Physics, Google Data Analysis, IBM Data Analytics, on IBM Data Science currently, and MS Power BI Data Analyst. Samson, I will need a few more tips from you. Are you asking, I need a few more questions. Are you asking what is the best route between the Google Data Analysis or IBM Data Analytics, or best route to transition to a career in data? I just need to quickly validate that so that I can speak to your question. And thank you for asking this. I want to believe you are the one that is concerned. And if you are in your 50, that shows a huge, I would say, it's inspirational for me that, you are not giving up to upskill, to learn, and to grow. And so you are asking this question out of a growth mindset. So I'm really, really happy. I'm interested in answering and making sure that the answer is tailored towards you and not just generic. So I need to know, are you finding the best, for, a career path, or between these two courses that you have here, Google Data Analysis or IBM Data Analytics? Maybe I missed up something. So let me quickly check if you've answered. Not yet. Okay. I'm waiting for your answer to that, Benga Samson. All right. Then we'll move on to this. I'm sure you can't see my face, because it's a very long question. And yeah, as far as you can hear me, so I'm okay. I want to speak to people. So I'm a business intelligence analyst, work with tools like Excel, SQL, Tableau, Python. I'm trying to solve a customer problem that always asks for data with some condition. This has been a repetitive task, a repetitive request. I want to use Power connected to the database and have the customer search based on their criteria and display results, then download in Excel. Wow. Thank you, Sadiq, for asking, making this really clear. Okay, so you have the Power Apps here. Good. This is a very interesting scenario. There are 3 things that can be done here. 1, if the criteria for the data that needs to be, let me just hide this one so that people can see my face. I'll be bringing it up gradually. If the criteria that people needs to the data, if the data is repetitive, if that data, if the feeds are constant, for example, only data changing, for example, every week, give me a list of new customer that we have in our organization every week. Or this week, these are the new people, new customers that we have. That one is constant, that is between this time and time, and these are the feeds that you need about those customers. That can be set in Power Automate, that every Friday or Saturday of the week, you need that to be sent. This flow should go to your database and search this particular table and look for feeds where those feeds are matched. It's a new customer, just got in between this date and this day, and then export it as Excel and send to the person via email. That is possible with Power Automate. In Power Apps, Power Apps can allow you to filter the feeds. So for example, maybe it's still the same table or a few more tables that you need, for example, and you have criteria, e.g., give me the number of orders, the total orders that we've sent this month, that we've sent out this month, or that has failed. And you want to filter the date. You want to filter the date yourself. You can build the Power Apps where you can filter the dates. You can select the date. It's like a self-service. You can select the date. You can select the few other details you want, maybe the product type and those things. And when you click on submit, it triggers a Power Automate flow that run a query. And that query, the column you are changing in your Power Apps must have been parameterized on the query, so that it's just passing those columns to the query, and the query can then run where the column match the condition that has been set, and then bring back the data and export. That is possible. It's like self-service, but the moment the requests are plenty, different tables, different things, it is no longer efficient. A self-service product is needed. That's where the data architecture comes in place. But if it is that kind of simple request, but they just need to filter what is changing, that is fine. Power Apps can do that. But if it's growing from that simple request to another table, to another scenarios, then self-service reporting is what is needed. And in that case, they need to have a data architecture, that data warehouse, and build on top of that warehouse those, functions where someone can go there, drag and drop and click and select, and that way it can write the query and bring out the data. So that is the best way to address it. But based on what you've asked now, if the data requested is the same, and only that few things are changing on the column of that data, then you can build the Power Apps where the customer can just go there and change those fields, and automatically the query that's been written in Power Automate, which is the action you are calling, can then bring in and fill in those criteria. I have done something like that before in the past, and I hope this is helpful. Okay. Benga Obikoya, what is the best roadmap for someone with a background in healthcare? Best roadmap to what, Benga? Is it to data analysis? Is it to So I need to know. Right, I'll come back to that when you answer it. Right, I have this. Hi, you are doing a great job. I ventured into data analytics just a year ago. I have secured 2 roles within this period. Amazing. I wish to learn data analytics in a more proper way so as to speak about data vocally like you. How can I start my journey? Wow, thank you, Najindin, for asking this question. And this seems like you're already working as a data analyst, but you want to maybe properly learn it, maybe because you didn't learn through many parts and you just want to learn it and be able to speak vocally, just like I'm doing, Okay, the first I will say is this. Right now, you've done so well for yourself because you have worked 2 roles, and meaning you've had real life experience with data analysis. You've given value to the business, and that leads me to this thought, or this thing I want to mention. Data analytics is not about the tools, it's about business value. So you know that first, that, it's not about Power BI, Tableau, Excel, those things. It's about the question business are asking. Am I able to do all I can to answer it adequately and make them see the value in it? Yes, that is what data analysis is all about. And for you, if you want to learn, for you to speak vocally, you need to know the fundamentals very well, because you always come across people who want to learn the fundamental. You always come across beginners who you want to help. So if you don't have a good foundation knowledge, you might not be able to guide them, because what they need at that time is nothing technical. They just need maybe a guide to the best resource they could use, some basic concept that is missing for them. So my advice would be, first, express data analytics in case your own is not building machine learning, it's building visuals. Express it in Power BI, in Excel. Find a way to learn how to use Excel to build these kind of visuals. So when you have data like this, it's not about what do you need to do first, then the how. What do you need to do first, then the how. So when you have data, you need to clean it, you need to do this, you need to visualize. Those 10 steps you need to take. Then how can I do it with Excel? So the moment you can do that, it becomes easier for you to even speak to beginners who are starting up. Do you know how to use Excel? Have you done this in Excel? Do you know how to do this, and this in Excel? And once you can do that, trust me, a lot of people will come to you because you know how to use the things they could relate with to also learn the things they want to learn. And thereafter, you also try your visualization tool, be it Tableau or Power BI or Looker or any other tools out there. But those things you know how to do with Excel. Try to replicate them. That's the concept. At this point, you are not learning too much of a thing. You know what? It's just how can I do it with this visualization tool that I'm using? And that's why it is important to know what. Knowing the what to do as a data analyst, when you have a data set, you have a problem statement, what should you do? Oh, let me start thinking. I need to do this. I need to do this. So write out everything you need to do. They are standard, irrespective of the tools you use, because those are data analytics process. Understanding the problem is one of the things you need to do. Two, finding the data match, making sure that the data that are available can answer the question before you even go ahead and do anything. Those are steps. Those are things that you must do. And once you know the data that we have can actually answer it, and while you are scanning through those data, you can see that, oh, this data can answer this question, but I will need to do some particular transformation or some things before it can answer it. So you take note of that process. You move ahead again and then start exploring the data. You go ahead again and say, oh, what kind of visual can I use that is best, to use for this kind of question? And then you start building the visuals. You test and you do all those things. If you can do those steps, when you get to Excel, the question is, how can I do this with Excel? When you get to Power BI, how can I do this with Power BI? So the first thing that every data analyst must learn is analytical thinking, not just in analyzing problem, but in breaking down data problem to arriving at a solution. So the moment you know what you can do, how to do, I will do this. I'll build a chart. I will use pie chart for this one. Oh, I will even try to test an hypothesis if this thing works. When you can write out those things, those are the things you need to do that will give value. You get me now? All right. So and again, for you to be vocal, like myself, you need to find ways to teach what you know, either by writing blog, either by speaking like this, or do a video and say, oh guys, I just finished this project and I believe it's going to be useful for many beginners or professionals like myself. Okay, this is a question that the data set that I used. These are the questions that I draft out of it. And of course, if you think there are more questions you would like me to take from this data, you can just drop it in the comment. I'm going to go back to the work I've done now and update it. But I look out for these questions and I look into my data to see if I can answer this question. I found out that I need to transform this before I can achieve this. I even found out that I cannot answer this particular question because this data is not in the format that will enable me to answer that. Or I need some secondary data to be able to answer that, and I don't have them. So now I went ahead to build my visuals, and I did all this. And if you can share what you do, it's going to go a long way, and you can start being vocal like that. And before you know what to say, you are being invited to speak, to train, to teach. Anytime you teach, you learn twice. So I always advise that. Find ways to teach what you know. You gradually become vocal, at it. I hope this helped. Okay, Andre, yeah, good. I have Emmanuel here saying, hello, I started PGD program about 4 months ago. I've done about 6 projects using machine learning techniques, including artificial neural network. How do I transit from manufacturing into data space on or before the end of the program? This is first, glad you're already on the path. So the program already have a path for you, and you are in manufacturing, and you are 4 months into it, and you have worked on 6 projects. But the techniques you just mentioned here, it seems to be advanced for me. So I was wondering how, in 4 months, you've been able to start working on artificial neural network project. It's fine. But in reality, as a data scientist or machine learning guy, when you start your work or when you start a project, the most impactful projects using the Pareto principle are not the one that use the deep learning approach. You get me? Because if you are in Africa, you realize, you wonder the businesses around you. It's not about deep learning. It's about the infrastructure. Do they have the infrastructure to house projects that are being built on deep learning? No, man, they don't. So the classical machine learning model, like the supervised, unsupervised, using the normal regression, those things they are very good if optimized, and they will help you learn quite a lot. So I don't want to fault maybe that you build 4 projects and you are already using deep learning, techniques. No, that's not a problem. But I would say that if you want to transition, I cannot say at the end of the program. The program is, I don't know how long the program is, and you are 4 months into the program and you want to transition. Transition, is it to get a job, or is it just to know that now I have this skill? For me, if it's to prove that you have the skill, first thing I would advise is consolidate your knowledge in business, in machine learning, techniques. Be able to, without the cost, be able to pick external data and work on it. Pick external data, go to Cargo, you can get data from there, work on a project. And don't just work on that project, look for how to deploy your project. So because you can build models, but how are they being used? They are not useful except business can consume them. And business consume them either through platform, either they go to a website and they're able to use a tool that is using powered by that machine learning techniques, or by API. You supply API that can be integrated to other things. So after building your model, learn how to deploy, because that is where you are giving value to the business. Your value is not in the model you have built that in your Jupyter notebook or somewhere on your system. It is in how you're able to deploy it. So on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist there that shows how to deploy, video machine learning model using several approaches, like Streamlit library, like Fast API, like Flask. I have about 4 approaches there that you can easy peasy. So you need to learn how to deploy your machine learning model, because that's where you now add more value to yourself than just I can build a model. But businesses or wherever you might end up working, they might not even have any infrastructure to house it. So they will expect you, a one-man data science team, you have to build the model, you have to deploy, and you have to monitor and make sure it brings value to the business. So it's not just, I've built it, that's all I'm here to do. No, there's no value there. So I will advise that as you have built 4 and as 6 projects, as you continue to build more machine learning projects, try to look at how to deploy them. You can go back to the 6 you built now. How can I deploy this? That's a huge learning, if you can scale through that as well. And I believe once you have it, then start showcasing what you've done. I'm not sure if you have, shared this project on your LinkedIn and you feature them, on your LinkedIn, page. Because when someone visits your LinkedIn, can they see those projects that you work on this, you work on this? Document it on GitHub and add it to your LinkedIn. Now you can add projects to your LinkedIn via GitHub. That is what we help you be known. Also optimize your LinkedIn. Maybe manufacturing, everything about to speak about manufacturing. Nobody will look for you in data science. So you have to now put in those keywords, those titles that make you align you with the career you want to build. Okay. Right. I have this. For Nigerian market, which of the cloud services provider will you recommend? To be honest, I will recommend Azure. Azure is because a lot of companies in Nigeria consumes Microsoft products. So Azure is huge. If you are startup employ few people. If you are some startups use AWS more and Google Cloud more. But if you are AI startup in anywhere in Nigeria, you are likely to use Microsoft Azure as well. So there are a phase of the startup that are using Azure, but the new emerging startup that are using AWS and Google Cloud, the new emerging startup today, they are using Azure because Microsoft is leading on this edge, and of course, they have a lot of things to offer, services to offer, infrastructure stable around AI infrastructure. So any AI startup likely go to Azure, but all those ready startup that already exist for many years, they are likely to be on AWS or Google Cloud. And if they are enterprise, of course, they are mostly on Azure. Okay, well done, sir. I'm satisfied with the session. Thank you so much for that comment. Thank you, Sadiq. I have Comfort Michael. Hello, yeah. I tried to change my current channel on Excel to better channel following your last Python in Excel tutorial, but I have not been able to change it. This is best. I think I have a second video on my YouTube channel, yes, recent video on my YouTube channel that shows alternative way. I show 2 ways and I realize some people are having challenge, which I cannot, there are a lot of challenges, so I cannot tell what exactly your challenge is. I can't see the screen, I can't see what it looks like. But if you go through my channel, YouTube channel, you will see some other videos there. That might be able to answer your question. Thank you for following, through those videos. And I'll also look back for your comments on YouTube just to follow up. Have you been able to resolve it and probably find a way to, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter. I might be able to also chat more there. Even after doing all the necessary recommending your video, I forgot to ask, I'm using a paid Office 365, both for individual and enterprise. What do I do? So I will advise, is it on the same laptop or on different laptops? On different laptop, if it's enterprise, your company might also be able to activate that thing for you to be able to switch channel from admin. And I'm not sure if you're admin. If you're not admin, for individual, you will need to, if it's on your own personal system, you can still gain access to this better edition. I just need to know what is really happening with your own screen, what experience you are seeing there, to be able to, pull this thing off. Someone is asking me, where are you based? It's a good question. I'm currently based in the US. I'm doing my master's in business information systems and analytics, and I work as a researcher, AI and machine learning researcher in the lab. So, yep, over here, I'm in the US. I know it's late night in Nigeria. Okay. Najim Dane, thank you very much for this session. Can you list the platforms where we can get materials to prepare for PL 300 certification and some other certifications? To be honest, Microsoft's Learn platform is the best. I'm not sure if you have seen that, but I'm going to drop it right now. I'm going through my, Twitter just to bring out that, link that I shared recently on Microsoft preparatory material. They now have preparatory material now for assessment. So if you want to write any assessment exam, you can prepare. There are resources to help you prepare. So I'm going to share the link to those resources. All right. So it's practice exam. Once you go through it, and if you go to detail and write a report where you did well, what area, what session you did well, where you need to improve yourself, and learning resources to do that. I tweet about this a lot, so I'm going to share in the comments soon. Ola, based on what statistics are you stating that new AI startup going to Azure? Good. It's because of the programs that they have out there. One, Microsoft is really, really aggressive around AI startups today. And you can see I've once worked at Microsoft. So I'm telling you, I'm speaking from that. And I also, while I was in Nigeria, before I left, I have they have Microsoft for startup programs, which a colleague of mine before that was at Microsoft, Tai Salami, was leading. So I was aware of how many of new startups are evolving and coming out of Nigeria, joining the program. I have friends that have come to me, Ola, I'm working on this kind of products. I need AI, Azure OpenAI credit. I need, Microsoft Cloud Credit. Guy, the best platform to do this is on Azure. They've moved to Azure. So I'm speaking from those numbers, not like the general industry numbers. And while I was in Nigeria, unable to now, I'm still very close with AI startups in that ecosystem. Any startup that has been before I joined the industry in terms of my activity, advocacy, yep, good. But when it comes to AI startups, Microsoft, any startup that is evolving and focus on building AI startups, obviously you will go for Microsoft because they have the best of the ecosystem. That program, Microsoft Startup for Founders Startup Up, gives you access to Azure credit. You have GitHub Copilot for your team. You have this Azure credit to build on and host your product in the cloud. You have Azure OpenAI credit where you can consume AI products, still free, build your product and continue to increase it across different levels. The ecosystem offering is very robust that AI startup today will say, I want to go on one other cloud and be paying to still consume a credit that is available for you on another ecosystem. So that is where I'm speaking from. It's really nice having you talk today. Thank you. We do this bi-weekly, right? So yeah, today I just decided to go on, ask me anything so that I can talk. Okay. The question come back again to me. Yeah, I think LinkedIn user. I think you are aware now. I think I've been able to answer that. I sent a mail to you via email on your YouTube. Okay, I'll check that out. A few weeks back. Oh, okay, with your screenshot, few weeks back. Oh, I think can you follow up with that so that after this, when I check my mail, I can see that this is you and this is the experience you are having. I get a lot of emails in my YouTube email. I did Dolapa, they said that well done. I enjoy watching and learning from your videos. Thank you so much. This means a lot. I really appreciate it. That sounds a bit biased. Both GCP, AWS, and Azure have program targeting startups. Good question here, but let's look at the offerings. Let's look at the offerings. If you can come out to me and tell me what are the offerings from AWS for AI startups, what do they offer today? Google and AWS, they're already big on startups. But when it comes to AI startups, Microsoft is the first to go to take the lead there, And just for AWS, I know AWS on startups, I know GCP on startups, but AI startups, well, maybe you will give it to time for prosperity test so that you can see what I'm saying, what I'm saying. I'm not being biased here. I know why I've run, I've had a lot of sessions in the past where I have some startup guys, who actually are on AWS Azure. We discuss the product, we talk about the offerings. We know when it comes to startup, AWS was the early, market leader in that space. So they went after startups. And that's why a lot of people, they are there. All those venture capitalists, they partner with them. So when you are getting funding, they also discount on some of these, cloud services that these people give to you, GCP, AWS. Microsoft was lacking behind them. But when it comes to offerings in the AI startup phase, AI focused startup, I can tell you, Microsoft is taking the lead there. It's because of what they offer. They offer too much of value in the DAI ecosystem. Where is the AWS foundational model today? They're not really out there with that foundational model, right? And neither are they really out there. They've made in Anthropy now, maybe over time they now commercialize and also make that thing available. But except you are consuming the big credits AWS is offering you, not really, and there is not so much of AI focused, services, additional services. You don't know what GitHub Copilot will do for your AI startup team, that you have access to your own team can use GitHub Copilot alone, and use code spaces, not to even talk of the Azure credit as you are building your product up to 150,000 US dollars credit, and not talk of the Azure OpenAI credits available for you to start using those AI integrated into your products. That is a lot of value to be offered. I've spoken to many startup, founders. I've spoken to those who are starting, who have started, who have even migrated to Azure. This is the ecosystem value is what is making a lot of them to move, because a lot of value is being offered through Microsoft in that ecosystem. So it's not a debate like a biased one. Yeah, it's a bias because yes, it's biased from my side because of the information I have access to and the interaction I have with, in the system, but not really. There's no national or international report here that say, oh, in Nigeria, this is how it is. But I'm close to that space, and I can tell you this is what I've seen. And I've seen a lot of people come to me because of it as well. Guy, I'm considering moving my workload, my backend. Some even commented on how app spaces, on Microsoft Azure can help them move their projects under 2 hours, something that would have taken them some weeks, because that space automatically detects what kind of infrastructure is needed for your project. Once you upload it, it provisions those infrastructure automatically, both for backend and frontend. If there's just so much value, if you are there, you are building one, we know these things, the challenge that comes with all these things. And then I don't just want to, talk too much on that. So that it's not like a debate. I use Google Cloud Platform when I'm learning, when I'm building some things. So it's not like I don't touch all of them. Okay. Yeah. How can a beginner in data science and machine learning get started in AI and ML research? First, I would say it's about reading paper. Because in research, you have to understand what has been done before you can push the edge or even implement whatever has been done. So here we read papers, on a particular, when you pick a topic, for example, social computing, where you are working on network graphs, network data, you have to look for research in that area. What paper have been published in this area? Where are the limitations of this paper? You can also tailor it down to one particular topic, maybe narrative analysis, how you extract narrative from blogs, from videos and all those things, and you can use that to drive narratives. So what are the approaches that people have used in the past to address this? Then when you know the limitation of that, can I push the limit? Can we use another method? Can we try this out to compare? Then you are able to push that limit and write some new mathematical model, or use epidemiology model, and anything you think is applicable. Use it, write the model, and transfer from the mathematical model to Python or whatever language you want to use. And from that, then it's working. Test if this thing is more effective, more efficient. What were you able to do? What parameter were you optimizing? And then write a paper around it and do those comparisons and show people that, oh, using this approach now is way better than the others. And you might even incorporate it into any tools or services that you have, so that you can also, it can be consumed by end users. That's just one way. So you have to read paper and learn how to implement paper. It's one good way. Thanks for your time, sir. As a starter in data analytics, what are steps for me to take? As a starter, I don't know where you're starting from. That also matters. So starter, have you not done anything at all? So let me assume that you've done something. And also your background matters. Let me assume that you are not from mathematical background, or you don't know anything about programming before. You see now, I have to make those assumptions before I can answer a question I still up to you. So let me assume you don't have programming knowledge and all those things. Then I will advise that you start with Excel. And when you're starting with Excel, you're understanding what data analysis is, how to use pivot table, pivot chart, not to use them, but what are you using them to do? So focus on that, because data analytics is about business value. You get? So when you are building that Excel, what are you using it to do? What are you using pivot chart, pivot table? What are you, when you're writing Excel function formula to clean your data, why are you doing it? So you're focused whenever you are taking those courses. You can see a lot of them on YouTube, on Udemy, any Excel for data analysis, because Excel is multi-purpose. So you can use it for finance, you can use it for any other thing. Make sure you are looking for Excel for data analysis or FIDO for data analysts, so that they are only touching the things that data analysts kind of need to know or use in Excel. So when you're going through those courses, be questioning your mind, why am I doing this? Is it every time? If they work on another use case, will they do the same thing that they've done now? So that you can understand the approach that data analysis using Excel should do, basically take. Once you know that, then you can move on to other visualization tool. You say Power BI, say Tableau, and once you learn that as well, then over time, as you are learning those things, you start getting to know about SQL, because you will know that at some point, all your data are not coming from Excel. Because in the reality, some business, you have to connect to database, and the language with which you speak to that database is SQL. So it's not just to go and connect. So that's when you will know why you need to learn SQL. There should be a reason why. So when you start getting to familiar with database, you need to connect to database. It's not just to connect. The data you are connecting to, they are scattered on tables. You need to know how to join them together. You need to know how to manipulate them. You need to know how to read and understand them. So you start learning SQL. And over time, when you learn SQL and you are also good with your visuals, you might want to stay there. And that's the point of being a business intelligence guy or data analyst. But in case you want to push the limits, then start learning Python, because now you understand data, you understand how to provide business value via visualization, and you want to push the limit by building machine learning models. That is more programmatic, and that requires some mathematical thinking. But if you cannot, because the background you're coming from does not permit you or does not give you enough strength to go that route, continue to be good with what you do with visuals, because there's a lot of things to learn about visuals. The team, the storytelling, how you can tell story with it, how you can, use it to drive decision intelligence and many other things like that. Okay. So, but if you think, oh, I still want to go upper, side of the career, then you go towards data science. And your knowledge in data analysis or business intelligence is going to be useful, because when you are building machine learning model, you do what we call explorative data analysis. That's the point where you're exploring your data to understand, the data well, so that you can use that information to inform the algorithm you are training and the model you are building. And in that scenario, your experience with visualizing data, building the best visuals, interpreting those visuals will come to play. Okay. So that is what I would say to you. Oh, Ola, awesome. You're based in the US as well, Dallas. I would like to meet with you one day. Dallas is not that far from where I am at. I'm in Arkansas, Little Rock. You are doing great. I'm a DBA, graduate transition to being database developer, but currently in BI team. Amazing. Thanks, Ola. Obviously, one day, we get to connect. It's easier now. All right. Okay, share. I would like to share your opinion on many thoughts. I would appreciate if you could DM. Okay. You travel a lot. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, it's easier for us to, LinkedIn or Twitter. My Twitter tag is the one on the screen, @Oyinbooke. Okay, while personal experiences might be valuable, I think it's better to start industry start and number. If you have that, this is a very new field. If you have that industry, you don't have that industry start yet. So if you have the industry start, generative AI and all this just start up now. Just this year, that's when all this big AI, after ChatGPT revolution from OpenAI, last year, it is this year that we start seeing the wave. And how many people have released their own foundational, model? So you don't have yet the industry that are saying, this is what it is. People are even gradually building and they're trying to gather this data. So by next year, we should be able to see industry data that can, be trusted. So I started my own personal thing because of the information I have access to in the industry. If you have, you should also share yours too. So it is by sharing like this that people get to know, have an idea. I support different opinion. So if you have other information that will even help me, better, talk around this topic, yes, I will appreciate. But this is what I know today based on several things I've done in the industry. Do you offer classes aside your YouTube sessions? Actually, I don't. I'm a student now, so I work part-time in a lab, and I also have classes that I take. I'm a student, so and so I just create time for myself where I can still connect with the community because before now I was working at Microsoft, so I do quite a lot, in the advocacy space. So it's already part of me, and now I still want to keep doing that. So this is my way of connecting back to the community and saying, let's keep growing ourselves. I'm seeing a lot of opportunity as a student that some students are not taking advantage of. So I'm here to motivate students as well that when you're a student, that's when you should skill up. That's when you should be doing these things. Imagine I don't have work now. When I'm done with school, I have to look for a job again. So, but I'm already doing things that can speak for me in the future. And that's the same thing I always encourage students to do. Don't wait till you graduate. When you graduate, you become impatient because you are already looking for money, you're looking for a job. Those things you need that will make that journey easier for you. You should start doing them while you're a student. You think you don't have time, you won't have time when you graduate. So honestly, I don't have that luxury of time to offer classes, but I do share any of my friends, colleagues, or any program that are offering analysis classes or community I belong to. I used to share or retweet them both on Twitter and on LinkedIn. Daniel from Ghana, how long did it take you to complete your certification? Which of them? I have about 12 Microsoft certifications today. And when I was taking them far back then, 2020, that was when I had my first stretch. I took 8 certifications in 3 months. I was that devoted. I was practicing, learning, studying, and going for the certification. I just dedicated 3 months for 8 certifications. I have a YouTube video that talks about that on my channel. I explain, how I approach it, how I created my learning resources, and what I also used to practice, all those things. Then I share that as well. Thank you very much, Oyinbooke. Yeah. I'm a graduate and currently data analyst, but don't know if to further more into data science or move into business analysis. Kindly help advice on this. So I would say it all depends. So if you think you have strength in programming, try Python first. Try to just learn Python for 2 weeks and see if you can build something with it. Did you do resonate with it? There's no crime in learning something and say, this thing did not work for me. There's no crime at all doing that. So I've learned many things. It's just, and the knowledge can still be very helpful for you. So if you attempt, so now that you are, in data analysis career path, if you do it well and you think I like this, do I want to challenge myself? Can I learn data science? Let me attempt. There are courses. Just 2 days ago, I shared on my LinkedIn and Facebook this 365 data science course that is open. All their data science course and AI course is open for free for 14 days. That's the perfect one. I think now it's going to be 12 or 11 days now, 12 days rather. So go ahead, check my Twitter, you see the link there. Go ahead, just for 2 weeks, go and take their data science this thing. Take it 2 weeks. If you think, oh, this thing is for me, then you can continue. If you think, oh, I like the knowledge that I gained there, but I'm not sure that I can further on this part. I would rather strengthen myself more into data analysis. And when you say business analysis, this term is also being used interchangeably today. Business analysts could be non-technical people who are actually doing requirement gathering, requirement elicitation between developer and business on different projects. It could also be business intelligence analysts, people who build visuals for business. So it all depends. I want to infer that you are referring to data analysts, people that work with data. If that is it, I would say do your data. But if you are thinking moving to business analysis, that's a different career. Outside, it's not totally data related because you could be working on different kind of projects. You do Scrum meeting, you do backlog refinement, you do all those things, you're gathering requirements. That's different from data, right? So if that's what you're thinking, I'm not sure I can advise you to go into that part since you already, you are into data analysis. So is it that you do more of that business intelligence analyst or you go for data science? That would be my advice out of both. Frank Felix, how best do you think we in Nigerian business and business in other underdeserved nation, how best do you think we businesses? Frank Felix, please can you rephrase this? I am missing that question. What are the 4 skills would you say are the most important to learn to get entry-level job? To be honest, to say 4 skills, okay, I'll put it this way. 1, be good technically. So today, entry-level job. Yes, entry-level job. Some people will say, let me get the job. And after that, I will learn. You are looking for internship, entry-level job. You are saying, let me get the job so that I can learn these things. An employer is saying, learn these things so that we can employ you. So you are saying, no, let me get the job. So I'm saying that today, you need to be technically good, no matter your level. So yes, because if you are not good, you are thinking you need that job to be good. Someone is good and has not gotten that job, so that person will get the job over you. But there are so many other scenarios as well, because there's this thing that information is what we use to fly. You get? So you also need to have access to information. There are people today that are competent technically, but yet they are not getting the job because they don't have access to the information. People who are good, but they are gaining access to the information, they actually getting the job. So first, you need to be good, assuming you know your craft, you're a data analyst, you're a data scientist, you have built things, you have projects to showcase, yeah, that one is good. Let's assume that is there. Number 2 is belonging to community or having access to information. So you need to subscribe to or check those sites where they post jobs, or belong to community where they used to share jobs opportunity so that you can have access to all these jobs. So that one is also important. Number 2, I would say prepare for interview. I have friends that took 3 months preparing for interview before they even start applying. If you are doing machine learning, all those kind of things, you need to prepare all the DSA, data structure and algorithm, all those things. You need to plan and prepare. You need to rehearse for interview. I need to rehearse for interview. You need to approach people in your community, in your environment that say, oh, assume I'm applying for this kind of job. Even though you don't have the job, you apply for, an entry-level data science or entry-level data analysis, entry-level this, entry-level that. Can you please just interview me? Just create a demo interview for me. Do 3, 4, 5 of those things. In fact, when I ask you to introduce yourself, you might be stuttering. But if you have done it 4, 5 times, you have found the best way to sell yourself. And that can be your brand. So anytime you go for interview, can you tell us about yourself? Because you have done this repeatedly, you know how best to push that value, you are hitting the net. So preparing for interview is good. So it's a soft skills. Don't just hustle and be juggling for job. Also find time. Those little things. Have access to community that share job information, prepare for interview too. Take conscious effort to prepare for interview so that you don't flop. You do a lot to work for that, that chance, and then you don't want to flop. And I'm going to say, also tell your story. So showcase things, because whatever you need to go out there, try and find a way to tell the story. If you have worked on project in the past, revisit the project and share it. I just want to share, in case you are looking for a project to work on, this might be an inspiration. As you are sharing that might pique the attention of someone. Or when they are going through your profile before they interview you, they might see those activities on your LinkedIn or Twitter. That can inform them about the kind of person you are as well. So I'm not going to say these are categorical 4 things you need to do to be able to get your entry-level job, but I can guarantee you, if you know your skill very well, at least know those, because they will test you technically and belong to a community that can get you access to information about jobs, about those questions you might have. And thirdly, I mentioned preparing for interview. Take conscious effort to do that. And lastly, being known out there. Tell your story, reintroduce yourself, all the projects you've done, document them and showcase them. You can tell the story, the same project, you can tell the story from the benefit to business. Oh, this project, this is how business can use it. If you're in the manufacturing industry, if you're in this industry, this is how this project can, bring value to you. You can say, oh, if you're a beginner, you're looking for a project to learn, this is how you can actually, you can work on this kind of project. That's another story, the same project. You can come back again and say, what I learned working on this project. You are sharing your learning from that project. on a single project, you can write more than 4 or 5 posts. It's how you tell that story, and those stories can make different impacts in lives of different audiences, including your future recruiter, okay, or employer. Right, so that would be what I would say here. How do you think we can push for data science and AI integration within local businesses within Nigeria and other underdeveloped nations? I think I get this right now. The biggest challenge today is our data infrastructure. Yeah, I remember my speech or my session at the data management conference, EMEA in 2021 in the UK. I was specific that Africa will not grow if you don't have data infrastructure that can power our innovation idea. So first, this idea of AI is good, but when you get into businesses, you see, in terms of data maturity, they are not mature, and you cannot produce higher than your data maturity. Today, how many people? That was what inspired me then to go and get certified in data management, career. Because I know that organizations today, they have ambitions to do AI, to do analytics, advanced analytics, and all those things. But in terms of data maturity, they are not mature. They don't have infrastructure. They don't have governance. They don't have those things that can make it easier for them to derive value from data. So first is about data maturity. So they need to invest more in data infrastructure, so that their data is ready to take those kind of solutions and bring value to the company. Number two, they need to see more use cases. So one thing, front-end developers and business intelligence analysts, they are the best that are selling their career today. Why? Because they show a lot of things. Even company, HR in the company might be going on LinkedIn and just see this kind of project that someone did. Oh, you are demoing your project, the app you build or the website you build, or you are demoing the dashboard you build. They can see. But for machine learning or data science, how they are not seeing this. When they can't see it, they cannot. When they see something, for example, my uncle one time saw how someone wrote an article on invoice disbursement. I was able to automate how to disburse invoice. And there are similar scenarios. Last 1 week, and they struggle with it. They weren't even automating it. They were doing it manually. He immediately caught his interest. Today, the company has embraced Power Platform, and they've used it in many ways because they were able to see life, the value this kind of thing is bringing to companies. So let's have more use case being demoed. Beyond, I have built my machine learning model and you document it there. Show it, deploy that model. Write about it, do storytelling so that they can see what that thing is. They don't know about the code. They don't know what we are saying. They want to see the value. When they see it, they can say, let me also hire someone that can do this kind of thing. Or let me go back to my team that we have and ask them to do this kind of thing. We have the team. It is when they're able to reproduce that kind of value that they can open their doors to embrace and employ more people. It is that time that someone else can say, oh, my colleague in other organization that are doing this, they are employing this, and we don't have something like that. So meaning there's value in this AI thing that I used to hear, let me employ someone. That's when they can open their door to employ people too. And more hackathon. When you work on hackathon, then deploy. You get it now. Hackathon help to build technical skills. And when you deploy that solution, you help business to see the value, and now it can bring value to them. That way, we are preparing the ground. Once you prepare the ground, the day there's that boom in Africa, the boom is not really there yet, but the day the boom comes to Africa, then opportunity everywhere for people. So that would be my take, on that. So organizations, yes. When I started, I've worked as a data management officer, where I was able to take a company from 0 or 1 data maturity to something that is more stable, that we could deploy machine learning models, use it to generate revenue and all those things. So I know what I'm talking about. It's from that point of view that I'm actually sharing this. Yeah. Generative AI is a subset of AI. I think you are conflating different things. There are industry start on this out there. Okay. I appreciate your point of view. I don't want this to be too argumentative, but let me quickly share this. You're right, generative AI is a subset of AI, but today, in terms of startups building AI products from Africa and Nigeria, tell me the startup that is using AI. AI has been with us for many years. Generative AI is the one now frontiering, is bringing AI value closer to customers, making it easier. You consume an API, and from there, you're able to do many things. We've seen AI for many years, right? It is in the age of generative AI that we are seeing boom across all industry, all products, from Canva to CapCut to many things, all of them. Were they able to integrate like that before? No. So in Nigeria, tell me the company that is using AI. Even deep learning, machine learning, deep learning, tell me. Talk of startups. So it is generative AI that is bringing the value of AI closer to people. So any startup today that is coming up, they have to leverage your generative AI to actually show that they're AI startups. You don't want to go and build your own. You are not building your own AI from scratch. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, companies use AI in the past, but tell me in Nigeria, tell me that company before now that is using an advanced level of AI. No, because I have some names. I won't mention names. I have some names that I know they use, but tell me, maybe it's different from those people. It is AI. It is generative AI. And who is leading generative AI? It's just the common knowledge out there. Go and start an AI startup today. You know what I'm talking about. Start one now, and you want to consume, those AI resources to build that, AI focus. That your own startup using AI focus, generative AI to push out things. Then you will know what I'm talking about. When you need credit to do the things you need to do, when you will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not about just talking about, it's the challenge that this guy faces and the value they see that all these companies offer them when you are building the actual product. Build one, and when you are building that and you need to consume this, or you are not building your own generative AI from scratch. You have to consume from those products. If you are building one you want to consume, then you will know that you prefer to go to an ecosystem that offer you this thing for free and support your growth, assign engineers, which other people does, but make sure you're doing it on bigger scale. AWS lead the startup phase, and Google, they took over the startup phase, no problem. That's what happened, because they were there in the industry, and people, anytime you just want to do it, you have AWS credits, you go out there, they have a lot of services to support you. But when it comes to generative AI, which is the modern AI era that we are in now, we know the company that is leading that pack. And let's not tell lie, it's not fighting against any company. Right? So I want to avoid that out of over-analyzing. If you go and meet an AI startup guy now and ask them, what value are they, seeing? Well, whatever service they're using, they will tell you. So this is not an argument. It's just build one, start one, and you will know who you will go for out of the three, except you have bias for one. If you are looking for value, someone that will give you more value to do this thing you want to do, obviously you go for Microsoft because they provide much of that, a lot in its abundance, to AI startups. Okay, Victor? I'm Victor Adekunle, based in the UK. Idira says, thank you, Victor. Generative AI, which is now in the field, is a subset of AI. Yes, it is. I think you are conflating. No, I'm talking about, it's not about defining what generative AI, what AI is. It's about value. Like I said, which company in Nigeria in the past, before this generative AI mode, is using AI to service everybody? List them. Okay. So now, with generative AI, how many companies are, deriving value from AI and putting on top of what they are doing? We have a lot of them. And we also have some startups now that are building from ground up as an AI startup company. So yeah, it's free. It's good. Thank you for sharing your thought. I completely understand what you're saying. It will look biased because I'm coming from Microsoft and I'm just calling Azure. No. I'm just speaking from my own. Well, it's still biased, by the way, but I'm speaking from my own point of view and my knowledge about the space. We follow you on Twitter. Thanks for honest answers to my questions. Okay, thanks. As a mentor on a couple of platforms, both within Nigeria and the UK, what can you say about the job market in Nigeria for data professionals, mainly data analysts and data scientists? I would say there's not so much enough opportunity yet. Number two, I would say the beginner level is saturated. That's the main issue we are facing now. The beginner's level is saturated. If you are an experienced or intermediate guy, it will not be hard to get a job. It is that beginner level is saturated. Everybody have it on their CV. Everybody always looking for that entry level job, and there's not enough of that room to accommodate, people. So there's not so much of job yet in the Nigerian market. And one of the things we can keep doing is to show value. If you are learning and you are showcasing, I've seen people that shows what they are they've done. And the companies say, come and do it for us because they don't know you can do that. And so the more we show how valuable the things we are doing is to business and how we can bring that value to business. So as a beginner, for example, you are not there and saying, why do you want to join a company? And you are talking about the company, how big they are, how good they are, those things. No. If you say, why do you want to join a company? And you let them know what you know, and now you can bring that as a value to the company. Today, I'm very good with data analysis. And not just that, I know how to use advanced AI tools in data analysis to bring more value to business. I know you have a team of ambition, you have an ambitious team, but I know with what I can do, I make it more easier to also, you at least you're able to tell them they are bringing this, so they see that, oh, they are getting more value, more value, and more value. And by so doing, we believe more companies will be able to open up their doors as well. Thank you both for your response. It really means a lot to me. Frederick, I got motivated through your old videos to subscribe to Data Camp. I'm currently learning to get their data science certification before January. I also took a Power BI course at Microsoft on LinkedIn. I'm currently a fourth-year actuarial science student, and I'm hoping to use next year to work more on projects to build my portfolio while in school. Amazing. To be honest, you are doing the right thing right now. Yeah, keep it up. What are some skills to have as a data scientist? Well, this is very subjective. I won't want to focus on technical skills. I'd rather talk briefly because time, okay? I'd rather talk briefly about some other skills. For example, collaboration, the ability to work with the team and cross team. Within your team, you meet with data engineers to deliver on a project. As simple as that is. It can be frustrating working with people outside your team. So being able to work with people or even working within a team. Some people prefer they stay alone to go and do the whole of the work and think you can get the credits. It's not always so. There are many companies that your appraiser is more, towards how you collaborate with others, not just what you do on your own. What you do on your own is one part, and there are many other angles. How did you collaborate with others to achieve success? So thinking that, oh, I did all my own work, I did it well, excellently, you are not excelling in your career because you need to show how you successfully work with others, collaborate with others to also deliver on project. Presentation skill, being able to present and defend the work you've done. So that has to do with also communication. And you have to rehearse. Some people can write code, not just to present to stakeholders, even within your team when you are doing projects. When you are giving your updates, I've worked on this. If you're unable to, let them know what you worked on and how much effort you commit to it, they might not appreciate what you've done. So you need to find a way to tell that story as well. You gain more respect. They know you for what you know. What you don't know, they know you don't know it, and you are growing. Number 3, growth mindset. Being able to take feedback. I could remember the feedback that helped me skyrocket my career wasn't a positive one. I was expecting a promotion. I think 2020, yes, 2020. I was expecting a promotion then. And then my manager then told me that I know you are not happy, but if you did so well, you're not the one to say so. Other people will say it. And that changed my mind. I knew that, so I need to let me go and do my work in such a way that people will be the one. Then, guy, that guy did well. So, and someone else will be so, devastated and demoralized and think the manager does not like him. But he's telling me the truth. If you want to have a career growth, you must be able to embrace feedback, growth mindset, embrace it, either positive or negative, know how to manage it to, power yourself. So I knew that, yes, the other year, then I started working. I support many teams, many people so well that they were able to achieve their goal. They're happy. I will not be aware they'll be mentioning my name somewhere because they are not the one telling the story. And that it's easier to defend that way. Even when they are sitting to discuss, who are we promoting, who are we doing this? Because other people are talking about you, it's not your manager that is saying, I think we should promote it. No, I'm saying, no, this guy did so well, yes. Or when your manager brings your case to the table, they're able to support that, yes, yeah, I think this is true. So I'll focus on those kind of skills. It is easier said than done. You need to prove it that you have a growth mindset. Yeah. And it start with how you manage feedback, start with how you are working on yourself, how you are working to improve. You take up a task that you have not done before. You have a growth mindset. You learn through, you fail, you have a growth mindset. Because when you fail, that doesn't mean you have failed. You've learned something that will not work, or you must be able to bring lessons out of what every experience you're having at work. So I would rather, focus on those kind of skills for now. Technically, you can pick it up anywhere. Take a course, go for a boot camp, do an hackathon, all and all like that. Thank you, Mr. Oyinbooke. As Africans, how easy is it to get a remote job in the West? Well, today, my observation is today market is closing up to location based, and that's the challenge. There was a time when remote anywhere you are, so it's not because as African, it's because the market is reshaping. Even in Nigeria or anywhere you are now, they will still prefer to a very large extent that you come to office, maybe sometimes some days in the week. And when you are in Africa, it becomes difficult, to say you are doing that. A startup can take that bet, but established organizations, and companies are strictening their rule now that if you want to employ someone, you must prove to us that you don't have someone that have that skill in our country first before you can go and employ that person from another country. You get that now? So that's the challenge. The gap is closing, but as you continue, that's why when you have access to information, some platforms that still do remote job, go and look for those platforms where you can see remote job placement and then make an attempt. The moment you get one, it becomes easier from there, because if you're working with a remote company already, 1 year, 2 years, and then, another company might take a bet on you to even relocate you because they see that you work with international company and you delivered and they've seen growth in you from those time period. So it's a bit getting tighter. Even if you are in a particular part, they will say remote, but you must be resident in the country. So it's getting tighter, but that doesn't mean people still don't get remote job. They still do. So yeah. If I may ask, do you have time to prepare people for interview? What I would rather do is go maybe live for a live interview, either on Twitter space, or do something like this. I'll bring a few other people with me. We're going to scrutinize about 2 or 3 people, then we have people to join like this interview session. And when you ask, we then interview you, get your CV, prepare. I'll plan for that kind of session. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, I should be able to pull up something. Okay. I've been learning for over a year now with some challenges in getting my dream data job. Some personal. How do you find the motivation to push on after several failures? Bayo, sorry. Tauridi Rafiu. As a student, I've applied now. I'm a student now, so I'm applying for internship, summer internship 2024. I've received some rejection too. So in the past in my career, I've never received rejection like that. Any job I apply, I get it, and then I even have several offers that I have to say I'm not taking. But when I became a student, now I have received rejection and I've not found a summer internship yet. So I know what it means when you're aiming for something and you are being rejected. But why give up? So my question would be, why should you give up? So when you give up, what will you do? Look at it that way. So when you give up, what will you do when you give up? No, so you don't have to. The thing is, no. If you believe that one day I will get this career, I will get this job, I will get my dream job, borrow job from the future. That's what I used to do. Sometimes the challenges we face is part of our journey. And if we do not, if you focus on the immediate moment and not on the future, which is actually a reality for us, if you believe it, if you don't focus on that future, I used to look at the future and borrow job. For example, nobody will tell me that I will not get an internship. I know I will get. How? Where? I cannot tell yet. Am I getting rejection now? Yes. Does that mean I will not get? No. Don't say because, you have experience. No, I said I'm getting rejection. If I have this number of experience and I'm getting rejection, then people also get rejection. And despite all this, I know that I will still get it. I don't have to give up. So if I give up, what would then happen to me? What should I go and do? So you lose everything when you give up. Because it's a time principle. It is a law of time. It will come. That time will come. But when you give up, you might slow down the realization of that dream job. So don't give up. Second thing is, you have to reevaluate what can be the problem. So is it my CV that is not optimized? Is it because I'm using the same CV to apply for all these roles? Should I have different version of this CV? Is it because my LinkedIn is not optimized? Is it because the kind of profile that I have, they say is not yet compelling enough? this job role that I'm applying for, what are the things they require there? Let me even do an audit of myself. Do I even match up with these things? What can I do that can make me more competitive? So those are also things that you can also do, to reevaluate. What am I not doing well? Because if you do it the same way repeatedly, and you always keep getting the same result, you have to look at what is wrong somewhere. Will it be something, or it's just the law of time that I just need to be and keep doing, keep doing it. So that would be my response to you. Closing on the loop on your last comment on the AI startup and the platform they are migrating more to. I think a separate, okay. It's a long one, but I just want us to read it, because this is a conversation now. We've been having it together. On the startup and the platform they are migrating to, I think a separate session on the AI landscape, specifically in Africa and Nigeria, should be scheduled. I completely agree with you. And I'll find people actually who are building in that space. People are building and people are working, so that we can have about 4 people. If you'd like to join, honestly, please DM me and actually bring you on board. So it's not just for arguments, it's just the way you are putting out there, so that we can also inform and educate people. Honestly, this is a key takeaway from me for this session. Thank you for sharing your opinion and making a part of this. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, my comment is by no, but except I have data to prove all those things. No matter comment that people have today will be biased, except you have data or multiple perspective that you cannot aggregate on their comments, things like that. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. I never knew it's going to take this long. I was thinking maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes session, but thank you all. As simple as this is, I believe it brings value to someone out there. And yes, please do remember to follow. We're building a strong community that we're uniting with each other. Yeah, do remember to follow. We keep doing this every 2 weeks. Thank you all and I appreciate. Bye for now.